How are you doing? I hope you are well. Mama D in the house. 1111 True Crime. We're talking about Idaho 4 and Little Miss Anonymous. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can explain to me why you would need to be on an anonymous chat site within minutes of 911 being called to the house where 4 of your friends lay deceased, slaughtered. Nothing. At this point, we are literally just minutes. Like, what is it? Wasn't it 11:58? 20 minutes? 20 minutes before 911 is called, DM, who's the most sus to me in the world, goes on YikYak, which is an anonymous site. Oh, we're going to be talking about YikYak. And guess what you can do? Oh my God, on YikYak. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you think about that. So we're going to dig into it for about the next half hour. Get comfortable, get your favorite blanket, get your favorite drink, and let's tune in together. We are a live broadcast, so there's times I interact with the live audience and I ask you, if you are at home, leave your thoughts down below because I absolutely have to know what you think about this. DM is 20 minutes away from Bethany calling 911, which we still don't understand what made them call 911. Their friends apparently hadn't even gotten the room. They admittedly don't even know what happened, right? That's what they're telling the dispatcher. Well, we don't know what happened. But then DM changes that story to, can I just tell you what happened at 4? But yet she is on an anonymous site at 11:35 a.m. and 11:36 a.m. She goes on YikYak, which we'll get into it, but it broadcasts 5 to 10 miles only. That's the only people you're going to communicate with. Remember Kim, WUS mom, Kim, saying everybody knew, like, well before? What in the world did Dylan post anonymously? And can you do videos on there? That's a huge question. So I'm going to jump over real quick. Just say hello to the chatters that have joined. Not everybody, of course, because we have a lot of people here. But hi, Bidrose. She took photos, didn't say she posted photos. Ah, good point. Good point. And that would be Bethany, right? Hi, Jolie. How you doing? Jolie Brown says, hi, Mama D. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait. Right? Claire Lewis Davis, good to see you. Could you do a shout out to my mommy, Karen? It's her first time watching your live. Please, for me, been telling her all about you, getting her to follow us on True Crime. Hi, Karen's mommy. Or no, I mean Claire's mommy, Karen. Sorry, I screwed it up. Anyway, hope you'll join us. Claire, it's wonderful, and we have a good time. Hey, Carolyn Miller, the unnecessary language of DM via the late Hyatt, pretty much. Oh, you'll have to fill me in. I don't know about that. All right, so Rich Buddy. Oh, I can't wait. Just maybe figured out the delay for 911. They saw the body or two and thought they OD and didn't call 911 until cleanup. They didn't see the blood. That could be, I don't know. How could you not see the blood? I can't. I'm sorry. I love that you joined us, Rich, but the whole thing about not seeing blood, I don't get it. I don't know who does. I don't know. So, YikYak. You can broadcast out, you can post, but only anonymously. So nobody knows who is posting what? On the entire site. And other posters can see what you posted and then respond. But they are posting back anonymously. So I'm trying to figure out what good that would do. What would be the purpose of Little Miss Anonymous going on Yik Yak at 11:35 and 11:36 a.m. just before they call 911? What is going on? So I made a poll because I have to know what you think, because I am at a loss. So our poll says, and I'm not going to read it yet because we don't have that many votes, and I want over 100 votes. We're not even halfway there. We're a hair away from halfway. 48 votes. Here's the question, though, and I'm going to give you your choices. Now, you can vote at home, too, on replay. What do you feel DM posted anonymously on Yik Yak minutes before 911 was called? What do you feel she posted? All right? So A, if you choose A, the crime scene. Or you could choose B, a selfie. Or C, I have no idea, but it's sus to us. Amen, sister, brother. Or D, her latest school grades. I didn't know what else. I can't even come up with 3 reasons. There should be nothing. No, you... What in the actual hell is going on there? These girls not only were on Snapchat, but Dylan is going anonymous so that nobody knows who's posting. Hours after a quadruple homicide that you didn't call 911 on, that your roommate that's with you is about to call 911 in 20 minutes, you go on Yik Yak, basically a college app, to post what? What did you post? OMG, that's blowing my mind. I guess there's a way to look at it that maybe she didn't post, but she just went on there and was looking. I don't know. Best of me, good to see you. What is YikYak used for? Okay, I'll show you. Let's go ahead, get browser up on the board website. And with that, let's get into this. Now, I'm going to make myself really tiny and go away. But I promise you, I come back. So, this is from October 3rd, 2022. Which, if you do your math or so, it's about a month and a little under a month and a half. Like a month and a week before the Idaho 4 case happens. Yik Yak unveils new video sharing update. How convenient. That really makes me wonder, could she have posted a video? Because you really wouldn't want to post your face. You'd lose your anonymity. I can never say that word. You know what I'm saying. They'd know who did it. I don't know. Okay, let's just get back into it. Can you see? Okay. How video sharing might transform app with problematic history. How interesting that it's a problematic app, right? Oh, wait till you hear the hell this brought. Yik Yak first took college campuses by storm in 2013, shortly after its creation by 2 Furman University alumni. The app is appealing to college students across the country because it allows for anonymous discussions with others. Your, quote, herd, H-E-R-D, consists of users located within 5-mile radius of a particular area. I can see where colleges would like that. Yik Yak's intent was to capture the subversive atmosphere of the college campuses, and it seemed to work. Now, let's get into what really happened. But the app's most alluring feature quickly became its biggest downfall. The anonymous chat forum rapidly became a medium for rampant cyberbullying. This led to a barrage of media criticism, eventually due to the major decline in users the app was sold in 2017. After its 4-year hiatus, Yik Yak announced it would be returning to the App Store just last year in 2021. It didn't exactly receive the warmest of welcomes. With that said, Yik Yak has revived its popularity due to the similarity of 2013 levels. It currently sits at number 15 on the top social. Now, let's go back up. Grab the date, October 3rd, 2022, right? Yik Yak's newest feature, which debuted this past week and was promoted by Barstool Sports. What a name. Allows users to post videos anonymously to the app. With the new knowledge that Yik Yak users, say that 5 times fast, Yik Yak users' locations could be exposed. This new update raises some safety concerns with regard to stalking and theft. That's interesting. Posting a video with anything that is potentially valuable to a thief can put users in some trouble, considering a hacker has more awareness of how to find precise locations and unique IDs. Another concern is that the return of cyberbullying, which the app has been no stranger to in the past. Posting videos of someone anonymously could open the floodgates of toxicity to an unsuspecting person. Anyone posting hateful videos targeting individuals or groups can't bear consequences unless Yik Yak decides to enforce speech limitations. This new feature could also be Yik Yak's attempt to get behind the trend of short video sharing. It may be a move that aligns it with apps like TikTok, Instagram Reels, Feature, and Snapchat Spotlight. Yik Yak's anonymous feature does not allow for creators, a way in which Yik Yak's video sharing is incomparable to other apps. After taking a quick glance at the app, Madison users, I kid you not, it says Madison users are hardly using the feature at all. After scrolling through the app for about 10 minutes, there were no more than 3 videos posted. In order to detect any noticeable change in the app's culture from this new feature, users will need to start putting it to the test, and that doesn't seem to be happening yet. So what is going on with Yik Yak, and why would it be used? So, right, Care Scorpio says, I used Yik Yak when I was in college. It only works within your area. It's popular in college campuses. Exactly. I would love the defense to find out and track it, even if it's anonymous, since they know it came from her phone. They could do it like reverse engineer and quite easily find out if she posted and what it was. It's wild to me. So the point being, when we boil this all down, which screen are we on, y'all? Okay, hold on. You get to see your mouse in 2 places. I have grabbed everything but the screen I want. I'm just going to put it like that. In a minute, we'll wonder why. Are you kidding me? Anonymous. Little Miss Anonymous. Let's shove that thing over there. All right. Now, let's talk. Not only did they hear, see, and fear, allegedly, this intruder? 3 feet away. 3 feet away. Don't call 911 till forever and a day later, 8 hours later. Okay. I always hear SpongeBob in my head right there. 8 years later. Because it's an infinity of time when life is so valuable and this has occurred. And then you think of the comparison of the victims in the state and condition these poor individuals lay. And then you read these documents and you see what these other 2 girls were doing when they came face to face with someone and did nothing about it. Never got help for anybody else. Never had a concern enough to be like, hey, nobody's answering. I think I'm going to get somebody to come over right now and check on them because I'm too scared to leave my room. No. Let's just go on our apps and Snapchat, maybe do a couple of selfies. Come here, dog. Get over here. Let's do cheek to cheek. And it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening to think of the 2 imbalances. The homicides at the gruesome level they are, and these kids down here allegedly huddled up in Bethany's bedroom, and we're reading Snapchat and all that, and then boom, photograph, and you're like, what did Bethany take a photograph of? And then you're like, boom, oh my God, Dylan was on YikYak? At what point? 20 minutes from now, we're going to call 911, hysterical, can't breathe, Blair Witching it. I'm Dylan. I gotta tell you what happened at 4. Blair Witching it. 20 minutes before that, nope, I'm on Yik Yak, anonymously. Hey, Beth, before we call the 911 and I act hysterical, let's put something on Yik Yak, because nobody will know it's anonymous. I'm sorry for acting this way, but if this wasn't so ridiculous, I wouldn't make fun of it. But when something sounds like a horrible writer wrote this out that had no skill, where the person's going to be like, oh, okay, so these, oh my God, the brutal murders, oh my God, the dog, the noise, the stalker. Oh, he got tired of writing the book. He just says the girls went to bed. Like, that would never happen. This author sucks, right? Sorry, I'm on a rant this week because Yik Yak, an anonymous site 20 minutes prior. And yet, mainstream media is focused on the fact that they're trying to say Brian looks like a monster in his selfie. Really? And there are those that have gone so far as to crop out the shower curtain on the original photo that it's clearly there, like there's no doubt. And these people call themselves human? Whatever. We ain't faking it here. Now, I am not saying Brian is innocent. A lot of people say that. I have never. I will always stand on the ground. Show me something that makes me think he's guilty. I haven't seen it. When you show me something that's tangible, something that's actual evidence in my book that says, now, wait a minute, I got to think about this. I'll be on here and I'll tell you that too. I am not going to accept that anything that these roommates did is at all effing normal. I've raised teenagers. I ran a haunted house full of teenagers. I know exactly how they behave. And I say teenagers, 19, now we're into young adults. They should be more mature. And the contrast of all this, going from Yik Yak to 911 in 20 minutes and not knowing why you're calling. Yeah, I don't know why we're calling you. Can I tell you what happened at 4 a.m. though? Carolyn Miller says, I haven't seen enough proof of guilt on Brian either. I agree. What's chat up to? Let's take a couple statements here. I'm going to put them on the board so that you guys can see what statements we are reading. Candace says, Idaho, I heard, doesn't need motive to convict a murder case. That's BS. Right? Okay. Okay. Very careless for a criminology PhD student who was asked to teach. I don't know what you mean, hon. What is very careless? Sometimes I think you guys post in little bits and then we don't see all the bits. So we're only seeing one. So if you can fit your thought all in one little, it'll make so much more sense. Linda says the comments about BK on NN are awful. What's NN? What's NN? I'm lost what NN is. News Nation? Could be. But nobody is talking about the roommates. Come on. For real. Thank you for getting me back to my thought. The media is all about the shower curtain that they cropped out. They're all about how pale he looks. They're all about this alleged idea that Brian bought a knife, a K-bar knife with a sheath and a sharpener. Whoop-de-damn-do. It was 8 months prior to the crime. He lived in a different state. He's physically had to move across to another state. And if he forgot it or didn't pack it because he was just going to college, that knife got left behind at the house. And who knows who moved it or why. If it even happened, let's see the proof. Let's see the proof. Ocean Deep, they must think it's cool to take pictures with the victims. I don't know. But I will ask you this. They're freaking out on the big media thing because Brian took a selfie. Now, if he didn't do anything, then he's just taking a selfie. That's just a selfie. Hey, have a good day. How do we know that he wasn't talking to Dad, who said, how you doing today, buddy? Can you send me a picture? And Brian's like, yeah, here you go, Dad. You feel me? Because it never says that Brian even posted this selfie. So it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If we aren't seeing that Bethany posted the photo, then how do you know Brian posted the photo? Just because someone takes a photo or a selfie doesn't mean it's posted. So there you go with that. The other thing is, Brian's all in white. The room is all white. The shower curtain is there. It is white. So, if you had just taken out 4 people, would that be the place you would clean up in? Obviously, you would shower. And then, how confident are you that you didn't miss a speck of blood somewhere in that bathroom, knowing it just happened a few hours ago? Like, you haven't got 2 weeks here to look over the bathroom. He's OCD as it is, right? We know that. So he's going to be totally picking it apart, but he hasn't even done that. He's just like slung the cower, didn't even close the curtain. But you can clearly see a section of the curtain is white, no stains. I don't know. He's just being a normal guy. Best of me, I agree with you. Beef Supreme, hello. BK's cell data is exculpatory. Timeline is impossible. State refusal to disclose is confirmation. Exactly. Because the defense is saying we can prove that Brian was elsewhere at the time of this crime. And so the state's like, oh, we don't want to use that technology in court. Yeah, no. Let's not use that kind of stuff in court. It's like there should be this unbiased desire for justice, but it doesn't work that way. The way American U.S. judicial system is currently working is pathetic, because I wouldn't say working. No. So here's what happens on these big crimes, right? They don't want to do the work because it could take a long time. It could take 5 to 20 years to actually solve the crime. But because it's a notorious, it has become infamous, there's this squash pressure condensing down to immediately get somebody held accountable. And so they're like, well, geez, we can't really afford to take the real time to do this job correctly and follow all the leads that we need. And then the real guy, we might not even get it right. So we're going to rely on the fact that we have a hunch, right? We just have fake Bureau of Investigation go, hey, come here. Did you check out this dude? Yeah, so this dude over here thinks it could be that dude, and so does Jimbo and Bob Joe. They're on the back. They said, could be that dude. He's out of state, I heard also he'd be an easy one to peg because, autism, that always goes in our favor with anybody that's charged with a crime that has autism because, they can't look people in the eye, right? So that's a sign of guilt, even if it's just really autism, and that's the way they always are. Doesn't matter. Also, they won't speak up very much, right? They're not going to... They won't defend themselves that good. I mean, it's a good disability to peg, to make a patsy. So I've heard he has that kind of thing. And he's out of state. He's also from the rival college. He's got a white car. We saw one, a white car or a light colored car. So all we got to do is, mess around and make it seem like we did a whole bunch of stuff. And then just be like, yep, his DNA was on the sheath on the button. Yeah, that's all we got to do. Hey, I know, write out a sticky note. Because DNA, button snap, just hand that to the prosecution. Because we're the fake Bureau of Investigation. We don't got to justify anything. We can break any rule we want. And as long as we say it happened, it doesn't matter. And then, see, the whole goal of the fake Bureau of Investigation isn't to solve a crime. No. All they really want to do is squash this hubbub of people feeling unsafe. That's why, when past important people were assassinated, like presidents and such, boom, they had their man on the ground. Right? And then he was shot. Same with the Beatles. Right? Instant, take him out. Take somebody out. Oh, there went that guy. He's important. Let's take somebody else out too, and then make that person be the killer. I'm just saying. They just pick somebody to quiet everybody. And the masses are getting smart. They are greatly awakening. And not many people are sheeple anymore. And we're seeing it. We're seeing corruption and bullshit and lies and manipulation coming from the side that is claiming to work for truth, honor, respect, and justice. And that's wrong. Do they take a hypocritical oath? Or is that just doctors? Just wondering. So, yeah. When it boils down to it, why in the actual name of God's green earth, the world, is DM on an anonymous website that only serves the local people 20 minutes before sniffling on a 911 call. Makes me think that 911 call ain't real. Or it's real. I believe the call is real. I don't believe she is being real on there. It makes me think if she can go from Snapchat and blah, 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 and YikYak, the anonymous site, and, you know what I'm saying? Burn. How'd she go from YikYak, an anonymous site, and surfing on the web, right, and talking, snapping it, and chatting it, and all this, to Blair Witching it on the 911 call? Can't. I just can't. I can't. I'm done with her. I'm done giving her the benefit of a doubt. I am done. When I saw this YikYak, when I saw all this, and now we think back to Kim being right, that everybody knew, which is proof in the pudding because action speaks louder than any damn words. I can't with her. Yeah, I believe Brian is 100% being framed. I believed Brendan Dassey was 100% framed. And I'm watching, I told you from the get-go, I even did a video of Making a Murderer, how they were going to do that to Brian, and they're doing it now. They're doing it right now. And the defense is playing the same exact cards that did not work with Steve Avery, which is that Steve Avery was framed. Because then the jury had to swallow that big lump of dry bread with no water. That meant, and this is where the prosecution laid it out right to the jury in the closing statement, Ken Kratz in the Stephen Avery case said, if you buy what the defense is telling you, that Stephen Avery was framed, then you yourself are saying that you believe a law officer that took an oath to serve his community framed him by planting the DNA. Now you wait till we get to trial. And you listen to that closing argument for Brian Kohlberger. Because if the defense goes with this, in my opinion, they're throwing the case. Because they already know that defense line of their client being framed will not fly with a jury. Because that jury has a very hard time accepting that there's an inner network and they think it's all police officers on that squad would have to be part of it. Now, if the defense could name one officer specifically that has maybe a Brady violation because of a conflict of interest with Brian, if she can pull it out to one suspect that could have done this and point to that individual, that's a whole new ballgame I've never heard before. But to just simply imply that that DNA got on the sheath because it was planted by who? Corrupt law enforcement? Then the jury wants to know who. See, it won't work any more than it was. I have a lot of experience in this type of thing, in this exact field. And this whole theory is taking us down to the whole thing on Brian Kohlberger. And I know people want a fair trial, but you are not getting a fair trial if you have this kind of behavior where you've got the demonizing and monsterization right months before the trial. This is when they release this monster picture where Brian looks like this or that, and they make it sound like he's celebrating the kill. And yes, Joyful, we can see your messages. Amber, it was a contract kill made to look like manslaughter, in my opinion. Thank you for sharing. Bree, hello. Let me get that on there. We'll go ahead and pin chat again. Let me get out of the way of it. What are all the parents hiding? There is much silence to the parents except SG. Why? Maybe they don't agree with everything being said in the courts. And maybe they got, I don't know, their kids' college paid for. So they're going to stay quiet while everybody gets their college paid for. Hey, Candace Morin. Who do you go to when the entire system is a corrupt top to bottom, Mama D? God, universe. That's who you go to. You start praying. Amber, the mother looking at Jack with hostility. No, I didn't think the mother looked at Jack with hostility. I thought the mother was in love with Jack. Like, okay. Christy was all about, Kaylee was being a brat, right? Kaylee was being a brat? She and Jack would have got married eventually. I don't think so. Kaylee was moving away. She wasn't looking back at Jack. Alpha Omega, the content creators are also pushing the narrative of thumbs up. Good job. Right. When I'll bet you so much that he is talking to his daddy. I'm doing good, Dad. Going. Look, got my ear. I'm looking spiffy, aren't I? Who else are you going to take a picture? You're not going to take a picture in the bathroom like that as a guy. Most guys aren't going to take a picture in the bathroom. Unless they're sending it to their mom or dad or sister or whatever. God forbid with BK's sister. Linda Dingler, why was the Moscow house really taken down? Think about that. At this point, I'd say lack of blood. And the jury would be like, there's no signs of any trauma. Yeah, Jack could never do anything wrong in their eyes. Right, Candace? That's what I'm saying. I started really doubting Steve G when he was starting to say things as we were fighting. I guess it would have been about 4 months after it happened. He said something, I can't remember what, and I knew it wasn't true. And I was like, you just effed up, man. You just effed up. And because of that, I've always felt I have a problem when somebody is fabricating information to make someone else look guilty. If they're guilty, you don't need to do anything, right? If we look at the G family, right? They got a lot of kids. How many of them still go to Moscow University? How many of them quietly got their college paid for? I'm just asking questions. Because we know Chapin's family all got their, Maisie and Hunter, they're good. They don't have to pay for nothing. The rest, they got their tuition, right? So you're in the prime of your life. Your kids are going to college. You got triplets. You can't even afford that, but you got them. And now your bills just got a lot lighter, and I'm sorry for your loss, but that would happen, that happened. But your bills get lighter if you keep your mouth shut, and you can't change the past, so you might as well benefit the other two and then get them out on easy street. I say it like it really is. Kaylee was leaving Ocean Deep. Kelly Porter says, yeah, Cole was a culinary artist in the Army, from what I heard. I don't know who Cole is. Hello, Beth. You said, I can't believe the atrocities going on with this case. Those girls are one thing, but their parents should also be complicit. Right, they shouldn't have been, I think you meant, and should have told them to call 911. I agree. Larissa says, did it say who BK sent the picture to? No, it didn't even say he sent it. He took a selfie. To me, the earbuds, my son did that when he was at college, when he was on a call to me. Right? Because I didn't want to hear all the swearing that goes on in their dorm room and all their sweat sock and gaming. So he threw earbuds on so that he could talk to me. And there were a couple times he sent me a shot. I'd say, send me a picture. You look so cute, or you look so dashing or handsome. You look clean. Send me a picture. And he would literally be like, hold on a minute. He'd snap it while we were talking and send it to me. Only me. And that's what I think Brian is doing. I think it is to his parents. Could be his mother. We don't know whose DNA is under Maddie's nails. There are 3 unknown male DNA, or no, 2 unknown male DNA under Maddie's fingernails, and then 1 other that could be her own. Or it could be Kaylee's or someone else's, right? Lee Noel, what about the connections? Ooh, this is a long one. Okay, hold on. Let me get a drink before I read this one. Hi, Lee. Good to see you. All right. What about all the connections of Maddie's and Santa's parents to the Aryan Knights? I'd have to see proof of that. We see you, Farley. Again, that's just something that was heard by some people, think they hear that, right? All the public arrests of trafficking on who? This can't be ignored. Who were all the informants? That's all your belief system. That's all you. That's on you. Cole Beringer's DNA was tested against the DNA found under Maddie's fingernails. Why is that? I'll have to research that. I'm not going to comment until I read that, because there is so much miscommunication. There's this male creator out there who is showing a cropped picture of Brian, so they have cut off all the outside edges by a lot so that you cannot see the shower curtain, and then they're saying to everybody, look, no shower curtain. And I'm like, wow, that's pathetic. And then a while back, I got all over somebody because I watched them on the Amazon search warrant tell people it said Kopaka there, and you could see that this individual had handwritten it with a frickin' pencil. Themselves, the creator had, in a blank spot, and I called it out. And then nobody understood what I was saying. And that same creator is the one that's pushing this whole Aryan thing. And because of that, because I had the actual paperwork from the courts as blank as it can be, that creator wrote the word Kopaka. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not ever watching somebody that does that. So I'm going to stand alone on my own, because I'm just going to walk the truth. Like I said, I don't know if Kohlberger's innocent, but at this rate, here's the problem I got. Why would you lie or need to fake a goddamn thing if he is so guilty? But the fact that there is all this shenanigans with the roommates, the fact that the courts are that motherfucking screwed up that they cannot even get the DNA figured out and have to hand it out of not certified state crime labs, not scientific expert crime labs, but it has to be sent to the fake Bureau of Investigation, where they have what? Because they miraculously, magically can make it all happen for you in just one sticky note later. See, that's my problem. So you can believe whatever you want. You can believe it's Aryans. You can believe it's the X. You can believe it's the frats. But one thing I haven't seen is enough proof to convict Brian. And that's the biggest problem. Yes, I believe it's more than one person. I believe it's a minimum 4 total people. I really believe that. I believe there had to be watchers that were looking out for each other, watching each other's back. And I believe 2 attackers at minimum. So Joey believes that Brent Kopacka framed Kohlberger. There are a couple that I've heard that from. I don't believe that, but Leonora, Green Mama D, good to see you too. It's like it was frats or drug gangs. So many real evidence and bullshit. I don't know who did it. I've never said I do. I had my suspects. I have my persons of interest. JD is my number 1. My number 2 with him is somebody that Bethany was connected to at Sigma Chi. I'm not even going to get into that because I don't have evidence or anything to support it enough, but hearsay and rumors, so I'm not going to get into what's going on over there. But I believe it was people at Sigma Chi that are connected to JD, the ex, and I believe that they took them all out. And they got away with it. That's how I believe. I don't know if it's because of, it could be because of this Aryan whatever. I don't know why. I have a hunch that it could be that Kaylee was a big true crime person. Hudson Lindo's death is weird. Claire's death is weird. Hannah Claire. Caden Young's death is weird. He was a journalist. Hannah Claire worked in the library and dealt with a lot of newspaper stuff. Caden Young did too. I don't know about Hudson Lindo having anything to do with that, but Hudson rushed with Ethan. That was all like weird. Hudson was Sigma Chi, same time rushed with Ethan. That's swarming around this in some way, I feel. Then tap that off or put the icing on this whole horrible crime thing. Kaylee's leaving and going to take the dog. And it's all coming together in a weird way, I think. But I do think there was 4. I could be totally wrong. I could be. Alpha and Omega says their house was supposedly known to where you get drugs. We only heard that because of the cab driver. That one time. That's the only time we ever heard that. We heard it was a party house many times. But the only time it was ever said that it was a drug house was some anonymous cab driver that went on the news and was like, oh yeah, that place was known for drugs or something like that. Hey, you. You see, got alive from Lindsay in London. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That's your name. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. What a cute name. B. Geek. Colble's living 1122 King Road. Where are y'all getting this crap from? Because he was not on the list. He wasn't on the lease at all. I swear. I don't know. I have no idea where he got that from. Gilly says, along with WSU frats, unalived people. I don't know what that means. All right. You think, okay, Amber is talking about Hannah Claire and Hudson Lindo. She's thinking you see what it says, and drowning were actually red rums. See? That would make more sense that there had already been red rums and that they had built up the nerve now to go in and take out 4. But for 4 individuals to be their first targets ever, that's wild. Yes, I agree. Amber says Dylan and Bethany no more. I agree. Yeah, JD is like, I can't hardly see how he didn't do it. It's so bad for me. But it's just my opinion. I have no evidence or facts. Well, I have facts. He's a juggler. A fact is he can parkour. Fact is he plays tennis, which gives you a hell of a strong stroke, right? He also can chop a lot of wood with an axe. He can balance an entire, bakery rack on his chin. He's so good at that. So he has the stamina. There's no doubt he could pull it off. He is one of my number ones. That dog was spared. If this was just some cartel, that dog would not be alive. There is no way. Because they don't want to get caught. The first thing they're going to do is take out anybody that is a threat, including a dog, a cat, whatever. They're going to shut it up before the cops get there so they can get the job done. That's my opinion. I also don't think they're going to take 100 swings at somebody. They're going to make sure they're never going to talk again, and they're going to get the hey-do out of there. They're not going to mutilate. Nothing. They're just going to do the job and get. That's my opinion. So that's why JD is always stuck with me. Alpha Omega, whoever did all this, the roommates seem to not be telling. Right. True. Hi, Passion Flower. Who left the country after the fact? 1 or more? Well, it was alleged that Jack Showalter, hoodie guy, who was like, either we're going to get you girls for this or they're going to get you girls for this. That's wild. Hi, Melody. Steve G said originally they had Jack D DNA in the house. He didn't know why or how that he was cleared so fast. It's on an interview. I have it. I have that interview. He indeed did say that. JD's DNA was at the crime scene. Wild, right? They hadn't been together for 10 days. But what can you do about it? Because the courts already have the guy that they want. Whether it's the right guy or not, that don't matter. It's the one the states decided they want. So, we got to go in and play the game so that we can watch a Richard Allen Part 2. It's pathetic. You're already seeing Kohlberger looks like hell. He looks like he's lost all this weight. He looks terrible. So did Richard Allen. And Jeanette, you could be right. Brian might be 100% innocent. I just can't rule either way. Because I have to say, well, he's innocent until somebody can prove to me he's guilty. And with that, I need evidence. I need the receipts to say, here's why he's guilty. So far, it's not on the table. So therefore, he remains innocent in my book. I said that for the entire time I've ever worked this Steve Avery case. He will always be innocent until somebody can prove to me that he's not. Show me something. But yet, the man's still sitting in prison. Steve Avery, life sentence. Second time wrongfully convicted. And his autistic nephew, who they managed to coerce because he didn't know what was going on. He was 16 years old with an IQ of 70. Thought he was going to go back to school and do whatever if he said what they wanted to hear. That's what they told him. When you tell an autistic person, You don't say, I want the truth. You say, tell me what I want to hear and you can go. Well, then they're going to be like, what do you want to hear so I can go, please? I want to hear this come out of your mouth, right? So that's exactly what they did in the Brendan Dassey case, is they started yelling at him and they started saying, what did you do to her head? What did he do to her head? And he couldn't answer. He didn't know. He's like, cut her hair? And they're like, no, Brendan. And then they blew it. They were like, he shot her in the head. And Brendan was like, oh, they shot her in the head. He shot her in the head. And then they were like, okay, thank you, Brendan. And now that 16-year-old is nearing 40 years old and still serving that same life sentence with not a bit, not a drop of DNA in the entire case, nor one bit of evidence. Not a drop of evidence. Nothing. I swear to you on my life. Nothing but those words that he spoke. And then you know what the kid said? Brendan Dassey said, it's time for me to go back to my science project. Can I go now? And they were like, no, Brendan, you're going to be coming with us today. And that was that. So, you think these states won't pull shit? Wisconsin gave away the primary bones in the case that Stephen Avery was sent to jail over, and told the post-conviction team, yeah, we got him on the shelf until it came time. And then they were literally caught on a butt dial saying, I don't think we got them bones in that bag. Right? Got caught. States play dirty. Don't think they won't. They will. And they are now. It's not a shock to me. I've pegged this from the get-go. And I would love to sit here and say that's not the way it is. We can actually fight and get justice. But it's so rare. It's so rare. It's more about getting this to shut down and getting somebody that they can be like, that's your man, put him behind the bar, and let's call it a good night. I know it's not what anybody wants to hear, but if they don't speak the truth, then what good is any of this? If we don't face reality and call it out, how's it ever going to get fixed? We have to take the time to call it out. Because if enough people actually could call it out, if we got enough people on board to saying this is absolute crap and we know you're pulling shit, then that's when stuff starts changing. But if we just keep going along as if, nah, I think they're trying to pull something, well, then you're blind, because you should do more than think. You should be like, holy shit. They literally are poisoning the water hole of the jury right before trial by demonizing this man with some cropped, washed out selfie that's been altered, number one, that was probably to his dad. Meanwhile, you have a roommate that's 20 minutes from making a 911 call where she's going to be Blair Witching it and sniffles and snot on Yik Yak, an anonymous site, doing what? Picking up some hooky date? For real. Let's keep it real. These roommates screwed over this entire case by not getting help immediately because everything sat there for hours and hours and got changed and staged and different. The least they should be is charged with obstruction of justice. And that's my honest to God thought. I need to get off here. I wind up because justice is important. But it's such a letdown when you're watching Richard Allen Part 2 And you know damn well that Ron Logan most likely took those girls out after watching in the Delphi case the 45-second little walk, hop, and a skip of these two precious little girls that seemed just delighted to go with this guy. And that's what Ron Logan said, is that they wanted to go with him to pet the horses on his own property. And that would make sense while he was like, down the hill, girls. I mean, his own lover, girlfriend for years, said he was extremely sick, demented, violent fuck. And that he was obsessed with little girls and would use his horse to try to get them attention. And that she thought he did it and that he looked exactly like the bridge guy. Yet we have a trial over here on some dude that has nothing to do with the case other than there's a bullet in between them that they think may, if they alter the rules, have come out of his gun. And that's considered justice. Amen to that, right? I call bullshit. It's lies. It's so Delphi feels better about themselves because they caught somebody and made this other person into the monster and created it and made a murderer, right? Well, now we've got a man-made, created, fake psychopath that doesn't exist because Brian isn't that guy. I haven't seen it. Every trait that I see in him is something I'm personally familiar with because my son has the same diagnosis that they're claiming that Brian does. And I see the button-up shirts. And I see the pale skin because he doesn't like going outside much. The light hurts his eyes. Could also be why Brian was driving at night. Because my kid only needs 2 to 3 hours a night to sleep. It's crazy. So he's up all night. So he does things like clean and what have you. Same with Brian. But those are the kind, the Brendan Dasseys with Asperger's or something. Very similar. And Brian Dassey, there is a Brian Dassey in the Avery case. Brian Kohlberger has disabilities. You can see it clearly. This is why they pick these fellers. Because they can take advantage of the disadvantaged. And that's pathetic. And it's disgusting. And I think about Brendan Dassey all the time. And I look at him, and I look at my son, and I can see my son getting put in that same circumstance. And it's heartbreaking. You'd think we were better as human beings to really want the truth. But no. We want that paycheck, right? Them state employees, they want that money. That's why they're going to convict Kohlberger. Because they're going to get a damn good wage to protect the face of Idaho. It wasn't an Idahoan that did this, was it? It was someone else, an outsider, right, Steve G? That's what it matters, is it wasn't one of yours. I'm really scared for BK too. If he is innocent, this is a tragedy. How can you know, as the parents of Kaylee, that they have the right guy when you've not only lied to everybody else, but you have lied to yourself? Think on that real hard. Because the truth is, you and I both know that you've told lies about this guy. And the truth is, you don't know who really did it. So give Jack D a hug. Love you guys. I will talk to you again soon. Thank God I have a beautiful son that's playing piano. I'm sorry, I get emotional. This stuff matters. It really does. It's our future. And if this is the way justice is going to go for the rest of my life, I'm going to go paint pictures. Because it's an endless fight of watching people destroy other people's lives and I'm tired of it.